Hey guys, Rob Potter here. We're now into our second video. So if you've watched the first one, thank you very much. I'm now doing the second video, and what I've decided to call this is beyond the process. Oh, sorry, behind the process. So I guess kind of a bit of a play on words there. It's about post processing, but it gives you a bit of a behind the scenes look at how I go about doing the post processing, and hopefully gives you guys a bit of an idea and some tips and tricks and how you can apply the techniques that I show you guys to your own post processing as well. So again, love to hear your feedback, guys. Let me know what you're thinking. Now, this video, this photo here is actually from Vivid. You probably would realise that, but I took this last night down to Vivid. It was the first night. I'm into the second night now, but I haven't made the trip in tonight. But there's actually a couple of funny stories that I want to tell you guys. Two in particular, I want to tell you about this photo. The very first one is that I had that really, really unfortunate bad feeling, or bad thing happened to me last night. When I got there, sort of found parking. I went in there quite late. I'm hearing a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's too crowded," and those types of things. And look, it is. There are a lot of people down there at the moment. But what I would recommend is what I did last night. I went down about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and sort of caught the last hour of it, but a lot of people had left, and I was really happy with the amount of space and that I had to play with. But one thing I wasn't happy with was, unfortunately, I got there, pulled out my camera, went to put it on top of the tripod, and realised that I had left my tripod plate at work on another camera. So had no tripod, which is obviously when you're trying to take photographs of a night time, is hard enough. So after a few expletives and me feeling quite sorry for myself, I actually found a little bit of a platform. Now this was taken from the Sydney International Passenger Terminal, but I actually found on the railing there was a bit of a, I don't know, it might have been about 30 centimetres of a flat surface where I could basically put my camera down and allowed me to actually take some photos. So was incredibly happy for that, and it actually resulted in me taking this photo. So in this little video, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a look into what went into actually creating this photo, because there's a couple of little tricks here that I want to show you guys, and hopefully you can get some ideas for your own photos when you go down to Vivid. So to give you an idea about sort of camera settings, I believe this was a 4-second exposure at 5.6, so aperture 5.6, so if that helps. But let's get into the post-processing. So I want to show you actually where I started off with this. So if I jump back over into Bridge, so you can already see that the photos are a little bit different. One thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to try and capture some of these boats with all the lights, because they all had various pink, blue, neon lights on them. So what I wanted to do was try and get that streaking across the screen. However, I did try a couple of shots where I really sort of opened up sort of like the shutter speed and that sort of stuff. But I would get nice lights and they would go right across the screen, but the Opera House itself, I just wouldn't get any colour in the sails there. It would just be completely white. So what I decided to do was take, again at 4 seconds, I would take these shots and then merge them together. So I'll just show you quickly how I did that. So we come down the bottom here. Here is the basic image. Now, one thing I should also show you before I jump into that is a couple little things I did in Camera Raw. So I don't use Camera Raw too much, but I definitely shoot in RAW. But one thing I did do was, I don't know if this will work, no, but I increased the blacks by 60. So you can see that what that's basically doing is allowing me to, I don't know, I guess see what's in the black areas, makes it not so black, and also, again, the shadows. So brings back the detail that's in the shadows. So I found just doing those two simple things really sort of brightened up the image and allowed me, again, to see the details that's in the dark areas. Now, this image here, this would be one of the very, very first times I don't actually do any HDR. It's just a one shot, so I'm not used to that. I don't do a lot of long exposure stuff. So I don't have a tone mapped image, but I still used it. And I'll just turn that off. So this is the before image here. I still use it as a sort of a building block. So what I then started to do was bring back in the other exposures. So they are these two here. So I brought those in, and then as you can see here, I masked those lights in. So basically, using the mask, I'll just turn that mask off. You'll be able to see. So I'm basically again bringing that in, but then concealing it with the black and revealing it with the white. Okay, so all I'm then doing is just getting this area here. And basically I did that for all three to give me that long, make it look like something's gone right across the screen while my shutter's been open. And then what I started to do with my clone stamp tool is just come in here and sort of join them up. And that was sort of the first step in making it look sort of proper. Trying to sort of sell that was actually one long shutter capture, I guess you'd say. Now, one thing that I did next was, because the camera was on a railing, it was a little bit off, so I've then come in and corrected it in Photoshop, so just to make it level, make it look not so slanty. One other thing that I did do here was, and you can sort of see it, is in here, I realised after doing all that I actually had missed when I was masking the area in, because there's one exposure that this red from all the lights is just quite more intense than the others. So what I decided to do was to mask that area back in, but I realised down here that I actually forgot that. Now, quite horrifying. I ended up going through the whole post-processing and finishing it. I was quite happy with it, put it up on Facebook, and it's not doing too badly on Facebook. I might be able to bring it over. But unfortunately, what I noticed after putting it up on Facebook was that you can sort of see it's sort of missing that area. So I was really like, oh no. And it's one of those things, what do you do? I decided to leave it up, and thank you to everybody who's liked and commented on that. But what I then did was I then jumped back into Photoshop. I actually then sort of pretty much redid the image, and then brought that area back in so that was all proper. So one of those things, we all make a little bit of a mistake, but yeah, you live and learn. So that was that, and then my little topaz adjust. So this basically from here on now is like my normal post-processing. So topaz adjust, sharpening, a little vibrance, and so I'll just turn that on. A little vibrance and curves, just to give it that little bit more oomph. The next thing I did here was, so you can see my blend mode is screen. It's only 10%. Now what screen does is it actually lightens up. So usually I'll do one or the other. I'll either go screen and lighten up an image, or overlay and just sort of darken and sort of make it a little bit more contrasty. And as you can see here, so it's just very subtle, and I've actually also applied a gradient, so it's just sort of really affecting the foreground here. But I find that really quite good, just to again, lightening areas. It's a little bit different to levels and curves and those types of things, but a technique that I use quite often, and I quite like that. Just again coming in here, fixing up, sort of cloning out areas. So I just sort of again trying to fix all this area up here. One thing I noticed, and I don't know if you can see it here, I'll zoom in, but you can see all these weird things. Now, what do you think that is? Well, if you haven't guessed, it's actually seagulls. There were heaps of them out there. So it's actually seagulls. So I've come in here and I have just sort of clone them out, or use my healing brush to get rid of them. And again, coming in here, just sort of improving some of the lighting, just again to make it sort of really look like that was just one exposure going across the water there. Last of all, a vignette, and then that's basically the finished image. So I'll give you a sort of a before and after. So that's the after. I'll hold in the Alt key and click on the little eye icon there, and that's the before. So before, after. So hopefully that's helped. Again, guys, let me know what you think of these videos. If you're liking the videos, please subscribe. I'm going to start doing a fair few these and location reviews and little photography, photography and Photoshop hints and tips. So let me know what you think. Again, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Cool. Thanks, guys.